Good morning, NewsFloridaLA.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning my guest is Mike Ward, the Vice President of Sales for Portobello America. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. It's taken us a month or so to connect, but you released some big news the end of October. Portobello, one of the top 10 tile producers in the world, based out of Brazil, is building a factory in Tennessee. It's about 70 miles east of Nashville, and they're going to spend $80 million building this factory. I'm sure it's going to be state-of-the-art. Let's get into that in just a minute. A little background first on you, Mike. You've been at Portobello for 3 years, but your whole career is in the tile business. You spent 10 and a half years at Bella Vita and 11 years at EPC, but it stands for European...
Yeah, well, at the time it was Europea Pavimento Ceramica. We were actually owned by Grestevals, which was a manufacturer out of Spain. They sold to Novarti, which is still a manufacturer in Spain.
All right. But then, hey, let's take it back home. You spent 7 years at American Marazzi before Mohawk Dale Tile bought them, right?
That's correct. That's where I started my career in tile, right out of college.
You're in Florida now, is that right?
I'm in Florida now, but I live in Dallas.
You still live in Texas. Well, tell us a little bit more. First, let's cover this factory. It's just east of Nashville. And it's interesting that that's where most, Crossville's the one that was the first one in that area, and there's a lot of raw materials up there, plus you're close to a big part of the market. So most of the big USA tile factories, with the exception of Del Tile, which has a major plant down in Dallas, they're mostly up in Tennessee, right?
That's correct, and actually Del Tile has a factory in Dixon, Tennessee.
Right.
Most all of the factories are there in Tennessee, and there's one in Kentucky just north of the Tennessee border.
Right. That's the Florida Tile one, yeah.
That's right. But for all the reasons that you stated, the raw materials are close by. We're within, I think, 500 or 800 miles of 80% of the U.S. population.
Right.
So it just, from a logistics standpoint, it just makes sense.
Yeah. Well, let me just say one point I want to make that's probably the most important point as we introduce our listeners to who Portobello is. Like I said, top 10 in the world. You service 60 different countries, but you're known for design. So when you look at the brands in Brazil, you've got Eliana, which Mohawk bought, and you've got Portinari, I believe is the other one, right?
Portinari, yeah.
Yeah, Portinari. But of the three, Portobello is the one that the interior designers love because of what you're able to do with the aesthetics, right?
I think that Portobello leads in terms of style and design, both in Brazil and around the world. One of the reasons for that is we operate our Portobello shops throughout the country of Brazil. We have 150 shops. Some are company-owned, some are franchise, but we sell directly to the end consumer. The end consumer in Brazil typically works with an architect and designer, so we think we have a direct link to what the ultimate consumer wants is in terms of style and design.
Yeah, and the people who understand marketing know if you've got that direct link to the consumer, you're getting great feedback. So just to reiterate one more time, you said in Brazil you have stores, so you can go to these shopping areas and you'll see the Portobello brand name and go in there and buy a tile, right?
That's right. They're called the Portobello Shop, and that gives us a big advantage there. Not only does it give us access to the direct consumer in terms of style and design, but logistically we deliver to the consumer, and a lot of times that consumer is on the 22nd floor of an apartment building.
Yeah.
So that gives us an advantage in terms of logistics that we're able to take advantage here because of that knowledge. We're able to bring that knowledge to the distributor partners that we have here in the United States.
Yeah. So here in this country, you'll sell through distribution and through dealers. Obviously, everyone knows why you're building a factory here. Most people know in the ceramic tile market, what's consumed in this country, 70% of it is imported. And with these supply chain issues, it just makes sense to make it here where it's going to be used, right?
That's right. It's never been more obvious and apparent that having domestic supply is very important. Having a domestic supplier as a partner is of critical importance to the distribution in the United States.
Yeah. Some of these companies that have factories in Italy and then have factories in the United States, they make more of the Home Depot type product in this country, and they make more of their highly styled product overseas. How do you plan to move forward here?
It's going to be a hybrid. We're not focused on, we're going to make nice product for one group of customers and regular product for other groups of customers. Our focus is style and design, period, for all of our customers. Mm-hmm. And we will have a portfolio that will be made up of U.S. produced product and product that we produce in Brazil, because we have economies of scale in certain sizes that we'll always take advantage of in Brazil.
When you set yourself up, I've toured many tile factories. Are you setting up for a 48 by 48, or what's going to be your largest format here in this country?
Yeah, right in the first phase, we'll be able to produce formats from 12 by 24 all the way up to 48 by 48.
Yeah. Okay.
And some smaller sizes, some special pieces, that type of thing.
And how many kilns are you going to put in, one or two?
Well, we'll put in 2 in the first phase.
Okay. So this is going to be a nice-sized plant. If folks want to learn more about this, I've looked. You have some great websites, so you can go to Portobello America or just contact you, right?
Absolutely. The website that we have, like you said, portobelloamerica.com, I think is very comprehensive.
So, Mike, is there anything I've missed in telling our audience why Portobello is making this move?
I think this is a unique time in our industry. The independent distributor is facing more challenges than I've ever seen, and we feel like a strong U.S. manufacturer partner is a very important strategy for the distributor, now more than ever. And we're excited that our customers and prospects see this advantage, and we look forward to growing with them in the upcoming years.
Okay, great, Mike. Thanks for spending time with our audience. We've been talking to Mike Ward, Vice President of Sales with Portobello, about their new factory in Tennessee, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.